Thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon that feels like a Friday, right? And it feels like a Friday because tomorrow is 4th of July. So a lot of people are getting ready for their 4th of July plans. Is it going to rain in your area whenever you are ready to set off fireworks? Well, we'll see. We'll get to that forecast. We do have some rain on the board for tomorrow. But here's a look at your biggest updates or your biggest headlines for today. Across North Dakota, hail will be one of the main threats that we're watching for today, but we can't rule out that high wind tornado threat either that goes anywhere from Dickinson all the way to the Minot area. Go down to that low tornado threat. The second headline here on our forecast for today. That's anywhere from the high plains, mainly in North Dakota again. Now we have another risk for storms across the Midwest and the East Coast. And we also have a chance for storms down in Florida, where we do have a tropical disturbance that has a 60% chance to upgrade into a tropical storm. So let's go ahead and get right in here. On the side of my screen over here, I can see your questions and comments, and we do have a pretty wide area to talk about today. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. Actually, I did not tell our producer before we started. So John, I'm going to call an here. We have video from yesterday out of Salt Lake City, and it is under MC2. So if you hit MC2, we should be able to see that video. Take a severe wind in Salt Lake City yesterday. Ooh, watch that blow through the city. Holy moly. Okay, let's see it again. You can see all of that water just dumping on the city and then blowing across town. So this is what we say, this is what we see. Whenever we talk about thunderstorm outflow, we're talking 60, maybe 70 mile per hour winds here. And so whenever we say we can get some isolated, strong wind gusts, this is what that would look like. And of course, I sped this video up so you can see it in a really, really unique time lapse here for Salt Lake City. Pretty impressive. So yes, we can see it across the East Coast today. So if you're in places like Massachusetts or even places like Maine, we've already got across our New England states today. So we could see that once again out in our New England states. Now that was out in the west yesterday. Some really strong winds down in Arizona as well, where I think we got up to 80 miles an hour multiple times yesterday. Now we're focused off to the east. And let's pull up that radar where we have several severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing at this moment. Let's get some information on these warnings. Zooming down here first to Burlington. Now, I did get an update from our meteorologist just a minute ago that we already mapped hail in this area. So we already have mapped hail from the New England states. Right now, we have an ongoing severe thunderstorm warning for 1-inch size hail and 60 mile per hour wind gusts. This is literally the definition of a marginal risk. Okay, marginally severe storms here, 60 mile per hour wind and small hail. Now, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in place as well. That is highlighted here in pink. So let's zoom out and let's get some info on this watch. This goes until 6 o'clock Eastern time. It includes about 1/3 people here. Let's go down to the south here and see if we've got, consistent timing here. This severe thunderstorm watch goes until 6 o'clock Eastern time as well, including 2.3 million people as we go farther down to the south. So we've got several severe thunderstorm warnings anywhere from New York all the way up to Maine. These mostly for 60 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. So the hail in this area will most likely stay around the size of a quarter, maybe $half at times, but that'll be the most common hailstone that you see. You're not going to see anything too much larger than that. Where can you see that larger hail? We're talking about North Dakota here. So Bismarck all the way to Minot, expecting larger hail and the chance for a few tornadoes today. Head down a little bit closer to Chicago, not including Chicago, but we are including Minneapolis here. We're expecting a few severe thunderstorm warnings, which means that we could see maybe $half, maybe ping pong ball size hail at times. Tomorrow, Minneapolis gets hit again. Saturday, another risk for Minneapolis and a chance to bring those storms back to the plains. So let's jump right into it here. What are we seeing right now? It's rainy down in Texas. So we've talked about the storms today. We're going to talk about the rain as well. We do have a flash flood risk down in Texas today and down western side of Florida. So we have two areas that we're watching for some of that extreme rain today. And then, of course, those storms up to our New England states. Temperatures, 81 here in Oklahoma City. I just got a text a few minutes ago that said, hey, it's expected to rain today, and it's going to be a bit cooler later on this evening. You want to go out on the patio? Yeah, it's a great night for patio sitting. It's going to be a great night to enjoy some of that cooler weather before those warmer temperatures come in here, especially in Oklahoma. Now let's talk about that hail risk for today, because we'll get out of the temperatures, we'll go back up to the severe stuff today. What we're really focusing on is North Dakota. So we're talking about Bismarck all the way. I think that this model is underdoing it on the west side of North Dakota here. I think that we're going to see some storms starting on the west side of the state and then going to the central and eastern side of the state into the afternoon and late night hours tonight. We're going to have a very low chance to see storms down in between Minneapolis and just along the state lines into Iowa here. And we could see some larger hail out in Pennsylvania as well, but it's going to be a pretty low chance. And very similar to yesterday, we just mentioned like states there. So if you have any questions or any comments, let us know. We will to tailor this forecast to your state. Alrighty, the largest stone tennis ball size hail rare. I think that if we see that, that would be up in Dakota. For the most part, I do think that we're going to see those smaller hailstones between about ping pong to golf size hail. Moving right along here, let's go right into where we're expecting to see those golf ball size hailstones. Why not? I think it would be the best chance for large hailstones, maybe an isolated storm around Bismarck or even Grand Forks. Now moving on to that tornado risk, a level 1 tornado risk, that's a marginal risk in the Minot, Bismarck, and Bowman area. It's a low risk, but a few tornadoes cannot be ruled out. And now moving on, let's go back to your hail risk, because I want to bring you back down into places like Minneapolis, which could see golf ball size hail today. So we're talking about ping pong, maybe golf ball size hailstones. It's a low risk, okay? I'm keeping you guys in that low to moderate zone today, but it's possible, especially with the first few storms that start to go into your area. And then let's go off to the East Coast, where if we see any larger hail at all, I think that we're going to see it on the smaller side here. So maybe up to that $5 size, maybe an isolated ping pong ball size hail, but it's a very, very low risk, mainly out on the western side of the system here. So we're talking about these early storms that are forming in Pennsylvania, and we've got storms right now on the western side of New York. Alrighty, moving on to your wind forecast today. Better chance for wind across a good portion of the U.S. So a lot of people expecting that 60 to 75 mile per hour wind speeds today. Very similar to what we saw yesterday. Again, do you remember that video that I showed you at the very beginning of this forecast? That video showing strong winds across Salt Lake City yesterday. It blew through the city. Now, that was only about 60 mile per hour wind speeds. However, we are expecting some stronger winds today, 60 to 75 mile per hour wind speeds. Alrighty, moving on here. So we talked about that tornado risk. We talked about the high wind and the hail risk. What about that flooding risk? Well, that's mainly down in Texas and Florida. So we'll get to that here in just a few minutes. But first, let's get to the future radar, where we are expecting storms to go up this evening up in North Dakota. This will continue to track to the east as we head into the late night hours tonight and even into early tomorrow morning. Moving down to Minneapolis, where storms are a little bit more conditional, okay? Storms are going to be firing up this afternoon. I would say into the evening hours coming through Minneapolis. Again, you may be out enjoying your evening activities before the holiday. Yeah, we could see a few storms out there. It'll be pretty rainy on the southern side of Wisconsin as we head into the overnight hours tonight. And here's the good news for your New England plans today. If you're headed off to Pennsylvania all the way to Maine, yeah, we're expecting these storms to move off by the evening hours. So we're not expecting any more severe storms after about 7 o'clock this evening. That's really good news. So that's the risk for today. Let's get into the storm risk for tomorrow. We have another risk for storms between Minneapolis and Nebraska and Kansas on Friday, your 4th of July plans through the plains could include more booms, fireworks, like of lightning or thunder as well. On Saturday, another risk up into the Midwest, northern plains. We have another risk right in between South Dakota and Kansas here as well. Right along, the storms come off of the Rockies, they'll intensify, and we get some strong storms out of them. Alrighty, taking a look at your flood outlook for today. I told you that we were expecting heavy rain down in Texas. Not expecting to get severe, however, you can get some flash flood warnings in this area. Western Texas has seen day after day after day rain, and that will continue for today. And now let's get into your tropics update. Florida also has a chance to see just a day after day of rain. But what we're seeing now is not necessarily just storms over Florida, but that has pivoted up to the northeast, right off the east coast of South Carolina and North Carolina here. So we've got a 20% chance for tropical cyclone development over the next 2 days. It's low, it's a low chance, so we most likely will not see anything develop in the next 2 days. However, in the next 7 days, so we're talking about the end of this weekend and early next week, we do have a really good chance to potentially see our next named storm, which is Chantal, again off the east coast of the Carolinas here. So there's your tropical update. Could we see that next named storm? Thankfully, it'll be after 4th of July. Other than that, the high pressure system that's sitting right in the center of the state right now, of the states, right in the center of the U.S. right now, is going to bring some nice warm temperatures, especially farther out to the east, and then we're going to see storms on the outside of that high pressure system. We really need a big trough to come through to get us significant severe weather. Right now, we are not seeing that. So we shouldn't see anything terribly significant for 4th of July weekend. Temperatures departure from normal. Okay, we're right in the middle of the country. I've got some great news for you. Temperatures are likely to cool down as we head into the second week of July. I know it's pretty warm right now. 80s and 90s, so we'll take it. At least it's not the triple digits. But as we head into that second week of July, the 8th through the 12th, this is when we're expecting to see cooler temperatures right in the middle of Oklahoma. Okay, and other states as well, Kansas, Nebraska. It looks like a lot of us are going to see a little bit of a cool down in here. We could see a bit of a warm up on the coast, and this is what I don't like to see, especially this time of the year, a warm up out to the west. This will contribute to our fire danger out on the west coast. Now, what about our rainfall? Below average rainfall as well. So dry and hot on the west coast here will contribute to the fire danger out there. Meanwhile, we are still expecting above average rainfall for the central and eastern portion of the U.S. as we head into the second week of July. Taking it a step further here, heading into July, August, September, it looks like temperatures are going to stay pretty warm out to the west. And there you go. There's your forecast today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Meteorologist Taylor Cox, so we'll see you back here same time, same place for your forecast on Monday. Now, unless anything really big happens over the 4th of July weekend, hail trace will be off. We'll still have meteorologists staffed to watch the storms for you. However, most of our staff will be enjoying time with our families, celebrating Independence Day. Have a fantastic and safe holiday. We'll see you back here on Monday.